Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be checking out episodes 19 and 20 of the Apothecary Diaries, and we're very excited to be doing just that. This video is kind of scuffed right off the bat because my internet is brokey. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. So I've also got like not long till I go to work, so I'm not even sure I can fix it before I finish recording the video. So there's a couple things this affects. One is the Patreon shout out. The other thing is the YouTube comments. Both of which I'm going to read off my personal phone. Don't look at my phone; it's all broken. So yeah, that's why I'm going to be like looking down here in a second, just getting that well out of the way. But yeah, more to the point, I'm excited to see the show. I feel like I explained it last week. I feel like we've just kind of lit the fuse and we're watching the fuse go along. There's about to be an explosion out of either Mau Mau or the plot or Lacan. Something's about to happen that is like earth shattering. If anything, the show has somewhat punished or at least called into question Mau Mau's decision to not think about stuff, to try to push it down, right? So there needs to be some kind of, I would say, punishment there for her thinking that way, or at least some consequence. That's what I'm looking forward to most of all. I believe that is coming up in this next episode that we're watching in episode 19. But let me get up those YouTube comments. Again, I'm going to be looking down. Again, I'm probably going to have the comments when I'm editing this thing up on screen, so it should be fine for you guys. But me in the moment, I'm going to get my phone open. First comment here from Bamps. One of the things I was thinking about watching on the analysis part, the offer of Lacan to buy Mau Mau from the old lady, could he have paid her to be kidnapped? Interesting. I don't believe this is the case. I think the story would work better if it was just like a random kidnapping that just happened because society, something to that effect. But it definitely is important that, hey, Lacan has been looking to purchase Mau Mau, buy her out for a good while now. She hides in the back whenever he shows up for a reason. He's been a pretty constant presence in her life, something which I probably didn't give as much, I guess, attention last week as I should have. Oh yeah, this is a great point too. If like Lacan paid for her to be kidnapped, she would be with Lacan. She wouldn't be at the rear palace. That wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, that definitely didn't happen. Next comment here from Kelvin. The sudden realization at the last second of episode 17 was satisfying to watch. Yeah, I thought it came out pretty well as well. I'm happy when there's a good moment in an anime and I kind of do it justice, so to say. I like when that occurs. It doesn't happen as often as I would like. Again, me being, I'm sitting here reacting to the thing. You want to see a reaction to information. I'm happy when I'm able to actually do that and it comes out pretty well. Yeah. And last comment here from Pencil Sharp. I don't think Lacan threatens to reveal Jinchi's secret, but the line, "What would my daughter think?" is what gets at him. Jinchi really doesn't want Mau Mau to feel like he is wielding power or ownership over her, especially since she wouldn't complain to him, though he quickly finds out that he is not standing in her way in this case. So then my question would be, what does Lacan have over Jinchi? They're both aware of Jinchi's power, right? Why doesn't Jinchi just ask for Lacan to be fucking killed? Say, this guy's being a creep. Make up some shit about him. He's a crafty guy. Yeah. Again, I feel like there is more there. Is there something about Jinchi? Again, Jinchi's has this power in secret. Like, that isn't out in the open that everybody knows his true identity and all that kind of stuff, right? So, like, he can't actively wield it? Is that something? Because now that he knows that Mau Mau fucking hates Lacan as well, and he's not standing in her way, because I understand it from that perspective. Jinchi doesn't want to feel like he's using his social status compared to Mau Mau's social status to push her into certain situations. That makes him no better than anybody else. Staunchly something that Mau Mau's against. He would feel like a bit of a creep in doing so. He wants something true instead of something fake. His whole life has been kind of built on lies in a lot of ways. So I understand that. I understand why Jinchi would do that emotionally, but then why is he listening to Lacan? Again, I'm imagining that I'm going to find out more in these two episodes, which I would imagine are pretty expository in nature, I would say. We're going to figure some stuff out. I think I'm not meant to know in a lot of ways. Also, yeah, the Basen thing, apparently, yeah, he appeared in episode 15 to escort Mao Mao at the arrangement of Gao Shun. That does not mean that it couldn't have also been a little bit of a Lacan play. Again, I'm probably dropping that now upon episode 17. Yeah, when he's tailing them on the little costume date or whatever. Yeah, more of a Gao Shun lackey than a Lacan lackey, which I guess is good. It's good to have. It's good that creep doesn't have any friends. It's good. And that's it for the YouTube comments here today. If you wanted to leave a YouTube comment of your own, you can become a Patreon subscriber, a patron, if you wanted to call them that. Yeah, $6 a month. You get episodes a week early for all the series, and exclusive voting rights, and Discord stuff, and like a bunch of other stuff. And you would pay me money, and I like money, so there's lots of benefits there. Many people have done this, up to and including Mickey Babbers, Charles++, Backslash, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Gus N, Heath, Ika, Yanko Yavanen, Joran, Kelvin, Kimskell, Clem, Nosta, Kot Begemot, Lou, Mish, Mistake Chen, Nailu, Parnik, Pencil Shop 333, Ronlad B&K, St. Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Vueko, Without a Net, Zan Echo, Yuki Ali, Zach, Binchi, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, Aiden O'Brien, and Funny Fat Guy. Thank you to all those people for giving me money. As I've said, plot is about to explode. We learnt some things about Mao Mao's parents last week, her birth parents, though she does not call them mother nor father, that being Lacan and the lady in the annex, who I believe still doesn't have a name to my knowledge. Yeah, seems really tragic. Obviously went into it last week. We'll carry that knowledge into this week. And yeah, this kind of Jinshi ritual thing as well. And also, Sure may be killing Lacan with a sickle or something. Growing morning glories on the hill, as you do. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how all that manifests. Discord if you want to talk about the show, like the video, subscribe, all that jazz. And yeah, we're jumping into episode 19 of the Apothecary Diaries right now. Rightio, I have episode 19 of the Apothecary Diaries up there ready to go. 22 minutes and 50 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. If not, I've got that picture and picture version in the description below, of course, and just using the subs please version should be very similar to everything else that's out there. Let's give this a 3, 2, 1. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Mao Mao. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, we're back. Very, very frazzled morning. I think I said a similar thing last week, if I'm honest. Just really not feeling these Wednesdays at the moment. But anyway, that's another question entirely. Just going to try to focus in and do some Apothecary Diary stuff. Whoa, it's a bit better. Let's do a survey, chat. What's the best way that we're going to have Lacan die? It's got to be very painful. I'm thinking something involving torture and a lot of pain, burning. I don't know, something involving CBT. I don't know. I don't like the bloke. I'm off him. I don't like him. I just want good things to happen to Mao Mao, if I'm honest. She kind of deserves it, I think. Alright, now what? Today's schedule. Good old medium ceremony. Yeah, I remember. I think I know too. I don't want to do work. Just call in sick, have a sickie. Chance or something more? Oh, Lihaku's here. Okay. Explain. With the pipe? Yo, okay, sure. There was a shadowy figure that planted the pipe. What was stolen? Love that you trust Mao Mao enough to tell her this, too. Ceremonial tools? Food poisoning? Whoa. Okay, it's all coming together, folks. Yeah, think. Because I was directly involved. Or kind of. It's all coming together. I agree. Oh. Yeah. The salty drink guy. Was Jinchi the goal the entire time? Who's pulling the strings? I remember. Who was the owner? Who was the owner? Oh. Well, I know a certain court lady. Oh. What was Surei doing? Mm-hmm. It would imply that she's responsible for the rest, right? Maybe it's somebody that the audience would know. Potentially. Well, now we know. Yep, put it all together. Yeah, you're short. Yes. Nope, shut up, Dad. I know I'm right. Yeah, this weird thing about a metalworker and his will. Stick. Finally. Yeah. Correlation and causation. What's that supposed to mean? Just calm down, Mr. Himbo. Oh! Great. He fucking legged it. Yeah, because there's tension from before as well. Because he's the one that took you out. Yeah, ceremonial tools is the one that's I'm question marking. Okay, you seemingly don't know. Weird. I'll talk about this tomorrow more, I think. You're always excited by this kind of stuff. What kind of trader? Oh, a reward? My favorite. Whatever it does, I'll give it to you if you use your talents. Get down. Yeah, you forgot all about that social class element there, didn't you? Back to normal. Sure. What incident? Yeah. Yeah, I've got no clue at all. Thank you, fake Galshun. Oh, well, tell me about the Board of Rights thing. Love a good ceremony. Yeah, I thought that was obvious. Yeah, okay. Suray. I love something good. Yeah, this Jinshi angle. I'm watching the Jinshi angle. Oh, Altar of the Sapphire Sky. What is this Dark Souls bullshit? Okay. Oh, that's terrible. Question mark? Yeah. uh yeah, this is some fucking bullshit. Someone's gonna get crushed. Is Jinshi gonna get crushed? Oh, epic metalworking connection in 5 minutes. Yeah. Oh, this is great. Yeah, someone's about to get Giga killed. Whoa! Epic running shot. That's the building. Oh yeah, Mama gets her ass beat here. I saw this in the preview. The social class element. Oh, this is great. We need someone to come in clutch here. I don't think this is going to work, Balbo. I think you're going to get your ass beat. Thought that might have happened. Oh shit. Well, maybe she was right. Because this guy seems like hella mad. Or they're all in cahoots. Ow. I'm back. No! This scene's so fucking good. Yeah, the girl, she has no relation to me. Hate this shot. Okay, bye. Fuck you, Lacan. We hate the guy. I guess he helped. Well, I mean, when this thing falls, you're gonna look like a genius. I hear it creaking. Hey, Jinshi, turn around. You big loser. The timing here is amazing, by the way. How the fuck did she do that? That's so funny. Again, we'll talk more about the logistics in the following segment, of course. What if it wasn't Jinji? That'd be kind of funny. Ooh, ow. Okay, it was Jinji. Oh. But you knew. Anyway, she's fucking concussed. Give her a break. She's dead. Mau Mau's got a giga concussion. Help. What if Jinchi was singing? That'd be pretty funny. What if she was dead? That'd be crazy too. But hey, I don't think the main character's gonna die. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, chat room. Loved this scene though, by the way. Fuck you. Fuck you. Don't think he expected to see that. Oh yeah, this is fucking Kino. This is great. A bit of pressure on the wound would be ideal. But I digress. We're not here to nitpick. Yeah, that was very good. Best scene in the show thus far? Up there. It's very, very good. I've kind of held back on talking about a lot of things during the actual reaction there. But yeah, obviously I was very correct about my prediction of, hey, everything's kind of just set up. It's ready to all topple in on itself. The only questions I have going forward is, okay, what was the plan here? Sudre? What's going on? Why do you want to... Seems like everything there was targeting Jinshi, right? Right? Why would she want Jinshi dead? Again, getting the kind of murderous, assassination-esque overtones of that last scene with Sudre, I didn't think it was going this way. Because again, the very large implication is that she set this all up, no? We got to see some motivations there. Also, Lacan's not stupid as well. He figured out most of the plan too. He saw the pipe. And he saw the will. and he saw a bunch of other stuff too. Yeah, cool. Thornapple, of course. Nigel Thornapple, my favorite show on Nickelodeon. Anyway, um, I'm gonna watch the next one now, but yeah, that's a whole can of worms that I kind of want to just stop and talk about, but I won't because I can't. Basically, that. Let's watch the next one. I expect my kind of talking about it segment after the fact will be quite long tomorrow. I'm going to be prepared for that. There is a ton to talk about. A bunch. Up to it, yeah, because I think it's equally complex on both the character motivation side, like the characters and their struggles and that kind of stuff, and the macro plot stuff. So I think both are pretty equally interesting there. Like the decisions Mao is making versus the decisions she had been making versus Jinchi's reaction versus Lacan's actions on the stairs there. I think that's very interesting, as well as the overall machinations of the mystery. So again, we'll go look at that tomorrow. For now, let's bring up episode 20. Let's do that. Radio have episode 20 up there ready to go of the Apothecary Diaries, of course. 22 minutes and 50 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. There'll be a picture-in-picture version in the description below, and using the subs please version. Let's give this a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. So from that preview as well, I don't know if I should have been watching these previews, by the way, because they kind of gave me some spoilers going into to episode 19 there, if I'm honest. But the indicator is going to be that there's somewhat of a time skip because her face looks like it's healed at a certain point. So I would imagine she's broken bones in her face. They don't heal quick. So she's going to have some recovery time there, is my point. Also, yeah, I think the general innocuous, like the general innocuous point of the meeting with Sure very early and smelling her and getting that smell of medicine, that kind of bitter smell, and then learning a little bit more about her, becoming a very very important clue in her figuring out the mastermind here. I think that could be a direction as well, which is very coincidental and fun. Something very very early, very innocuous in the story there ends up being crucially important. Shao Mao. Oh, yo, sleeping in his bed. Can't imagine why you would have a headache. Okay, who did the stitches then? Did you? It's actually poison. Just bring him in. I'm fully clothed. Bussin'? It's complicated. Mm-hmm. They did make replacements. Oh. The same one that melted when the sun was on it? Wow. So you would almost like it would almost like need to happen. There'd be no margin of error there. Who the hell's that? Oh my god, Mao Mao was behind it all. Yeah, do you want to talk about that? Mao Mao, I know you've got a concussion, but you already put it together in the past, honey. I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah, well, if you had that same kind of motivation before, Jinchi would be fucking a pancake. He'd be squashed. Young Xiao Mao. Xiao Mao. Who is it? Oh, okay, well, that's easy. Her corpse? What? Okay. Okay. Hmm. I saw somebody bust out of a coffin in the opening. What is this fucking magician's bullshit that's about to occur? Somebody's gonna bust out of a coffin? May I see her? Well, if she thought she was going to be discovered. Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, someone's gonna bust out of this coffin. Jinshi, we need to make sure that this person's really dead. You're a freak, Mao Mao. Most certainly did. Curiosity killed the cat, and then the cat was revived again. Yeah, in case she gets punched in the head again, or hit with a fucking thing. I don't know. What do you call those things? It's like a blunt something. It's okay, sir. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh. 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 I see. Interesting. Love a good thorn apple. Oh, yo, look at this shit. Let me bust it open. I'm surprised they're letting her do this. What? Teleports behind you. I was testing you, Mau Mau. You're an idiot. Nah, he's alright. Something to slow the heartbeat or something? How did she procure a different corpse? It's walking around somewhere. Bro, she just got up. She's so based. She may be like an assassin, but she's based. Insane drug. Oh, even the pufferfish. I have a sore leg. It's almost like she was working off of the adrenaline almost. Interesting. Oh yeah, for sure. So it's that same costume that we saw before. I think the eyes looked a little bit suspicious. You're the fucking Joker. Jesus. Mau Mau's a supervillain? Somebody stop her. Help, it's bleeding everywhere. I was running. Yeah, so it was kind of like adrenaline. That's funny. Oh, hello. Laolan. What? Narrows eyes. Still no dialogue from her. Noting that. This guy's hella drinking. Oh. Weird. That sounds familiar. Yes. What if you talked with her about it? We're going to the rear palace. Probably something Laolan, right? Yeah, I know. But what were you drinking? I say. I see. Really? What? Yo! Yeah, stop doing this bullshit. All right, thoroughly confusing scene. But anyway, we'll go back through it. So he's posing as a 24-year-old, but he's actually younger? That would make sense based on timeline stuff. Also, you're speaking now. I think she's cool. Is he an idiot? I see. So their relationship's largely very political. Good. I mean, is this the story we've heard before? Weird. Okay, hello characters I haven't seen in 10 episodes. Oh, does that imply what I think? I see. Yeah, that's generally an indicator that she's pregnant. Probably morning sickness, something to that effect. Oh, we're back. We've never been more back. In his own way, maybe? You're odd. Okay, sure. Oh, we're back. Yep, same room. What do you mean by that? Yeah, Emperor's got his own problems, I guess. Hopefully not Pyrin for my good friend Lihaku's sake. Okay, that was a really weird ending scene. That episode was big old question marks everywhere. What the hell? Am I stupid? Maybe. We'll go back through tomorrow. You're not stupid, you just can't read, which maybe is a symptom of being stupid. I digress. Interesting episode. The Sure stuff is insane. She's like, I was gonna say she's like the Joker to Mao Mao's Batman, but maybe it's the other way around, based on that last scene as well with the laughing. Yeah, I like how we're just like, oh, she literally revived herself and is somewhere else now and has conspirators and stuff. Oh well, it's not investigate anymore. Oh, time to go back to the rear palace. Just yeah, the predilection for people in the show to just like not talk anything out with each other is kind of insane. So even when things are established, right? Nobody establishes it with other characters, so there's not a group knowledge of anything. Does that make any sense? So again, we've known about that Jinchi stuff for ages, right? But it took his perspective on it and explaining it a different way that maybe reframes it. We'll see. Yeah. Cock. Hell yeah. Run. And then Mama was doing some fucking Phoenix Riot there. That was cool. Yeah. What a two episodes. That was really good. Obviously, probably enjoyed 19 and a touch more, but both were very good. Loving. Yeah, it feels like that was the big ending sequence to everything we've been building up, at least for a little bit. The whole, like, pillar falling and then the Surrey out of the coffin type stuff. I feel like that was the ending of our little outer court arc for now. And now we're moving back into the rear palace. Lao Lan's becoming more involved, I guess. And I don't know where Sure is. She's a supervillain or something. Yeah, again, I want to speak to Sure about like what she even like wants. Why is she trying to assassinate Jinchi? Is it a power grab? Is it something else? I don't know. Again, she appeared mysteriously and has mysterious motives, and she's like an adopted daughter or something. Sounds very similar to another character in the show, potentially the main character. So yeah, lots to watch there. I want to see all the machinations of episode 19 again and figure it all out, even though, again, at the start of episode 20, we do explain it quite well. Yeah, specifically kind of Sure going through, figuring out all these mysteries, and then aligning all these accidents to the point where it looks like an accident, right? But it's all planned. Every part of it was planned, you know? Yeah, very cool. I will return tomorrow. We'll talk some more. Show's really, really, really good. It's really damn good. It's living up to the billing of a mystery show, I would say, in that the mystery is really good. And yeah, but again, it also carries forth a lot of the character stuff that I really like out of a character show as well. It's not pure mystery. There's a lot of stuff there, which makes the main characters in Jinchi and Mao Mao so very interesting too. Loving it. Loving this show. I'll return tomorrow. I'll see you then. And we're back. It's the next day. Apothecary Diaries episodes 19 and 20 in the book. They were fantastic. Pretty obviously, a scene towards the end of this episode, kind of that climactic scene of episode 19, ranks among the best in the show, in my opinion. Just kind of everything coming together, like Lacan, Mao Mao, Jinchi, all their kind of character stuff up to this point, clashing in a way that I thought was more than satisfactory. It was quite brilliant. The person I want to focus on here, at least in this first little bit, is Sure, because it turns out she's crucially important because she is kind of the mastermind behind everything. So, let me get this straight before we rewatch anything and potentially change anything. My understanding right now is that she's basically behind everything. They literally explain it all, or at least Mao Mao's theory in the start of episode 20, like from the pipe given to the warehouse guy, so he blows up that one warehouse while she can steal another thing. There's the thing with the guy that likes the expensive foods. He had food poisoning from the seaweed. That was part of the plan along the line there somewhere. Conan, the guy that died from drinking the salty drink, he was involved there somewhere. Again, this commonality of the ceremony and the rites and that kind of thing that was this linking factor between all these different cases, up to and including the metal workers as well. They were involved, up to and including Jinchi being pushed into this certain position by other external forces, other people being not available. Thus, it seems like it was a large attempt to assassinate Jinchi, which begs the question, why do you want to assassinate Jinchi? You know what I love about it as well? She was in that group of characters, right, that was originally chastising Mao Mao about staying with Jinchi and being Jinchi's new servant or whatever, new person in his kind of space, right? I just assumed, hey, you must like Jinchi, like the rest of them, right? No, that's not... You were scouting. You were scouting to see if this person was trouble or not, right? I'm planning something against Jinchi. I want to see who I'm up against. She's sussing out the competition in a different way. I don't think I'm going to be breaking any new ground by saying that Sure is a pretty direct parallel for Mao Mao. Unknown origins, adopted, comes into the rear palace, has, immense talent, has a kind of... at least some knowledge of poisons and apothecary and that kind of thing as well. Now, the key difference, obviously, is where their allegiances lie. But the other one is that Sure acts upon her instincts and that kind of thing. She uses her talent where Mao Mao keeps it bottled away. It's no mistake that she is symbolized, and again, I'm assuming this is Sure, right? She is symbolized with a blooming flower as opposed to Mao Mao, right? She has a blooming flower on her head as opposed to Mao Mao's flower, which is all inside. If Mao Mao blooms, she'll become a worthy adversary for Sure later in the story, I feel. And again, this sense of admiration from Mao Mao upon learning everything and all the different steps that she needed to do to execute this plan, regardless of the fact that her plan literally led to Mao Mao's leg getting very hurt, Jinchi almost dying, Mao Mao's head getting caved in, she still respects her so very much because she can do what Mao Mao cannot. Right? She can put all these things together and get away with it. It's not just conjecture for her. It's not just fantasy. It's something that she can actually attain. In that way, she can bring something back from the dead. In that way, she can produce magic almost, I really like the social kind of manipulation aspect to it as well, specifically with that one guy that was at the pharmacy, that one pharmacist guy. She knew that he liked her, and she used that to her advantage as well. I see a lot of that in kind of Mao Mao's past in like the brothels and that kind of thing, kind of learning that skill set too. So yeah, just a very, very interesting character that I'm dying to learn more about. Up to even the changing of appearance, something very crucial to Mao Mao as well. The changing into the cross dressing and that kind of thing to get out eventually, right? Like just yeah, what a plan. And that's not even half of the episode, right? And I should stop rambling about it because I actually have to go back through the episodes proper. But yeah, just came out of nowhere. Loved it. Obviously, that she was a named character. She was around. They were going to do something with her. I just didn't imagine this. Again, I wouldn't even call it villainous. On a level, she is... Okay, so another thing we should imply. She knows that Jinshi is... She knows his role, right? She knows who he really is, and that's why he's being targeted, right? And like on a surface level, the system sucks. Taking out people at the top of the system isn't a bad play. It's just that we personally know that Jinshi is just another cog in said system, and we're personally, again, familiar with him. We want him to succeed. We're relating to his journey. If she was like assassinating the Emperor or something, not that the Emperor even seems like a bad guy either, if there was like some bad big guy that she wanted to like assassinate, I wouldn't say no. It's just that we like Jinshi. I don't know. Yeah, it's a complicated one. I wouldn't say that Sure is especially in the wrong for thinking that this system needs some change. I don't know. Yeah, just wow. I want to talk more with her. Really, I do. Also, she's tall and Mao Mao's short. I don't know. I'm thinking all the differences between the two, and yeah. Let's get into the episode. That's probably for the best. I guess next to Sure, the other big thing in these two episodes is watching Jinshi and what Jinshi says. They're pretty important episodes for Jinshi and his personal character journey, I would say. So just, yeah, watching early. Just this opening scene is just suggesting that he has work to do this afternoon, a medium ceremony and that kind of thing. That often he would cleanse and smell of incense and that kind of thing. Now this makes a lot of sense. He was doing this kind of stuff, right? Because certain people had become missing, let's say. Yeah, so he needed to step up into a bigger role. He accidentally became important, which is the worst thing you can do. But again, there's the ironic twist to it all. During all this time, when he has this increased responsibility, he's still thinking about Mao Mao and her Lacan stuff and all that kind of thing. He's kind of selfless in that regard. Hopeless, one may say. Oh, I forgot to mention this as well. Here's another reason why Mao Mao would find Sure appealing and what she does appealing, right? So, okay, my initial theory for the happenings in this arc were Lacan. Lacan's behind it all. He's the guy with the monocle, right? He seems like a bad guy. He seems like a conniving sort, like a real schemer. So he's probably behind it all, right? And he's testing Mao Mao, right? Au contraire, Lacan was using these circumstances which he thought were coincidences to test Mao Mao. Yes, that is true, but they weren't coincidences at all, and Lacan didn't see that, right? In that way, Sure is almost using Lacan, something which obviously you hate Lacan. You would find that appealing if somebody had one over on him, if that makes any sense. That you figured out something and Sure figured out something that Lacan could not. So again, something to aspire to be. Almost an idol in that regard. Very, very interesting. Love the episode title too, Chance or Something More. Most certainly was. Also, yeah, okay, if we're gonna do like straight up butterfly effect stuff, if Lihaku didn't run to Mao Mao right now, Jinshi would be fucking dead. That's kind of crazy if you think about stuff from that perspective. So commence me explaining the plan. Here's the first step. You know when there was that fire at the warehouse, that explosion as we found out? Turns out that was a decoy. We used that to steal some ceremonial tools. Again, it all links into this Jinshi scene at the very end, of course. We ask what kind of ceremonial tools? Well, we don't know. The only knowledgeable manager has been away. He got food poisoning. So again, this is the seaweed connection. There was another manager as well who passed away last year. I remember he was famous for being really by the book. Forgot his name. I remember he had a sweet tooth and things like that. This links into Conan. Again, I've been all through this already. So here's something I wanted to talk about in the moment as well. As soon as we bring up that all of these could be coincidental, I'm like, but we're in a piece of fiction. You don't include information that's coincidental, especially in a mystery show, right? So as soon as Mao Mao starts to bring up like, oh, it could be a coincidence. It's definitely not. It's definitely a ploy. And then it got me thinking. And I'm like, Jinji was the goal? And it turns out I was right. It was true. Yeah, again, the drama here is less that, oh, it could be a coincidence, it could not be a coincidence. The drama is instead Mao Mao believing her own little story that it's a coincidence, or following her heart and actually pursuing what she actually thinks is occurring. We get a little bit extra to the kind of pipe fire explosion story as well. We tried to give the pipe back to the guy. He's like, I only got it from some other random court lady. And as soon as we say random court lady, who is the only other court lady we know in the show? Well, I say other, the only court lady we know in the show. It's Sure. And again, we have this wide shot here, looking very tall, hiding her face somewhat, hiding her mouth and so forth. But yeah, that's Sure. From there, I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh, turns out she's actually like assassinating people. That's fucking cool. Another thing I mentioned previously yesterday is that it's a great little mystery coincidence thing that it turns out this pretty ancillary piece of information early was actually crucially important. This meeting with Sure where we just got barely a whiff of her and she smelled like medicine. She had that kind of bitter smell on her. It's like, oh, well, that's actually a clue that somebody else noticed as well. Quite tall for a woman, smelt of medicine. Okay, now you know in your mind, even if you don't want to admit it, that is Sure. Oh, yeah, look at this. Okay. I never noticed this about Mao Mao's character design. It's definitely playing off of Sure's kind of flower, right? This is like a bow. It's kind of got that, it looks like a flower bud yet to bloom, if that makes any sense, right? It's closed off, it's tied up, it's bottled in, as opposed to Sure, who is flaring out, showing all of her talents and so forth. I just love how this whole Mao Mao dynamic has progressed from that episode with that other brothel, like with the conjecture there, with this scene was in, right, where we learnt this about Mao Mao and what her adoptive father stood for, right? Don't speak purely based on conjecture. Again, what is he doing? He's had a interesting previous portion of his life, right? But that has burnt him. It's burnt him to the point where he's at his lowest point. He can't walk. He's just kind of chilling in this slum. And he's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to touch the fire again. I don't want to go in again, right? And we have this kind of devil on the shoulder, always telling her to, don't fly too close to the sun, don't do that kind of stuff. But honestly, it's probably poor advice overall. But it's not poor advice. Again, this is the realist. This is the I'm not in a story, I'm in real life type answer. Don't get involved, run away, keep your head down, all that kind of stuff. That is the best way to avoid getting killed. But again, I just think this is so brilliant. I think this is so brilliant for a protagonist of a story to have such innate talent, but have somebody on another side telling them to suppress it. And again, not out of malice or anything. He thinks he's giving good advice. But ultimately, yeah, the best moments for Mao Mao in the show is when she's actually chosen to use this stuff. Again, as I've said before, it predicates the entire show. The show wouldn't happen if she didn't make that move in the first episode and save Gyokyo's baby, right? And Shinji didn't notice that. None of the show would happen from there. Yeah, I love this dynamic for the show. It's probably the thing I love the most about it overall is this Mao Mao kind of will I, won't I dynamic. It's really, really cool. It's like the mind and intellect of some kind of master detective, some kind of Sherlock Holmes, but they're meek. They've got this side to their personality that's telling them not to use this immense talent to solve the mystery. You've already figured out who it is. If you played off of that intuition right this second, right now, without doing the research, you would be fully successful. You would have thwarted everything. You would have gotten Jinchi out of there. You would have confronted Sure. She'd be in prison. Everything would be perfect. But yeah, it's just so cool. I don't know how else to describe it. I should mention Lee Haku as well. I just like him. Big himbo vibes as I've been, as I've said before. Golden Retriever boyfriend, all those kind of things that we say in this day and age. It seems like we're doing something with him and Pyrin next episode, so that's why I'll bring it up. That kind of episode also brings up a good chance for the show to go back more comedic again, if that makes any sense. It's good pacing is my point. These were two pretty big episodes with a lot of reveals and that kind of thing. A little bit light on the humor, so it'd be a good chance for us to get a little bit more humorous again. This is one of the standout jokes, though, seeing that kind of touchy-feely from Lihaku and Jinchi getting a whiff of it, and yeah, you see what's happening here. The art style change there was really fun. I also like that this carries a bit of baggage with it. Of course, you've played off the joke before that Lihaku was the guy that brought you out of the rear palace to even go see your dad and Vertigo's house and all that kind of stuff, right? He was the guy that accompanied you, which has kind of certain indications to it, I guess I would say, which you've played off for comedy in the past. So this kind of beef between Lihaku and Jinchi is my point. Even this small decision here. So Mao Mao goes, I can't say that this doesn't involve Jinchi, so I better tell him. And yeah, it is crucially important in the end that you do tell Jinchi, because you get some more information here, you get the go-ahead to go and research it. But again, we keep saying here, could be coincidence, could be accidents, could be hearsay, could be all these other things. You just don't want to think that the possibility that all of this was planned. As a result, you're not outwardly excited about it. You don't want to pursue this mystery with anything else, right? You need some kind of external motivator to want to do so, right? You keep hiding behind your status. I'm just a servant. I only do what I'm told to do. Hey, like, you need some other motivator for you to want to pursue this. I know you have talent. I'm going to give you that motivator. Now, if I had the internet, which I don't at the moment, fuck you, Telstra, I hate you. I would look this up. But again, all that matters for the plot is that Mao Mao thinks it's cool. It's a apothecary thing. A good old medicinal gallstone is what we say there. Yeah, as we've seen in the past. I do want to do a larger analysis at some point about this kind of connection between apothecary poisonings and love. So obviously this being the motivator, this kind of apothecary poisony thing being the motivator to ultimately bring you two together at the end of the episode is something that I'm keeping in mind too. All the way back to, again, episode 3, Lady Fuyo. This kind of quote about love and wanting to bottle it up. What kind of poison would it make and all those kind of things, right? Yeah, just, again, keeping it in mind for the ultimate love that may occur here is my overall prediction. Again, being played for comedy, very much so here. Her being very gung-ho about pursuing this now that she has that motivator, which, hey, normally the motivator would be hot boy. Instead, it's gallstone of ox. Now we commence Mao Mao doing research segment. She laments the fact that if she actually studied for her court lady exams that she would be very good at this kind of stuff. Who do we know that actually did study and achieve their court lady exams? That would be one Sure, of course. Therefore she would know how all these things work behind the scenes and who would replace who would be next in the kind of lineup there to be the master of ceremonies. Thus Jinchi is in the wrong place at the wrong time and gets smushed. As we drew that kind of Venn diagram before, we kind of go through it in our heads again now. It turns out that all these little incidents, right? Kolnen, the food poisoning guy, the thing that was stolen, all have ceremony as a collective piece there. We obviously put together that information from the past as well, where Jinchi, you highly suspected he was involved in ceremony, and so forth. It's all coming together is my point. Again, all of this ceremony stuff is a little bit foreign to me. I don't know what they mean by ceremony. I don't know why it's so prestigious and that kind of stuff. I guess I'm just not that familiar with the culture there, but I'll take their word for it that, you know, Jinchi would be in this particular position and this is a medium ceremony as opposed to a high ceremony, and that means certain things and certain other things and so forth, right? Also, shoutouts to the bro here in the archives who used to work at the ceremony place who gives crucial pieces of information, which yeah, thank you, random person we'll probably never see again. Even up to and including the building that we're going to be rushing towards later. Specifically here voicing his concerns about the pillar. So, hey, the part's strength, it used to look a little bit weak. Specifically here we even have a diagram. If the metal parts fixing the pillar in place broke, the pillar fell, that would crush whoever the master of ceremonies would be. And this is where it all kind of comes together, right? The final coincidence, I would say, is that, hey, if a part got stolen that was involved in ceremony, right, specifically that metal part, well, what would they do? They would make a new one. Who is the best metal worker in town? It's these bozos, right? They would make their new little thing, the new little connector thing, right? This is another thing where Mao Mao has been directly involved. It's another thing that was pushed upon her by Jinchi as, requested by Lacan, right? Not that she knows all the context there, but it's one other thing that doesn't sit right. And this is what ultimately causes her to panic. This is where we see her start to pick up the pace a little bit, right? Okay, 3 coincidences I could do. It still could be coincidences. 4? No longer coincidence. And again, there's even more than 4, if we're going to be honest, right? Everything about this is fishy, and Mao Mao now knows it. And then she starts fucking booking it, and it's cool. Again, this is an important moment because Mao Mao is now moving upon just a hunch, right? She doesn't know this for a fact, but it's a pretty good hunch. And her moving upon this ultimately led to a success, right? Will she learn from this in the future that, hey, normally my hunches are correct? Does this also soft confirm who Jinchi is in your own head, or did you just forget your own theory in that regard? I feel like you did, because, next episode, I know she's, concussed, but she seems to, forget that she even theorized that Jinchi was baby swap guy. That Jinchi was pretty important. I don't know. I feel like her success here will be motivated to try harder in the future in this regard and go off of her hunches even more. Really, really cool animation through this segment as well. Some really nice cuts on her running. It is a very impactful scene. Basically, everything from here to the very end of the episode is dynamite. I hope this guy gets, fired. Again, he's just doing his job. I don't know. It's not his fault. But, this is the ultimate clashing of social status, right? This is the limiter on Mao Mao of how far her social status currently can get her. It can get her into the steps, but it can't get her into the altar to actually save the day, right? This is her lot in life. This is her curse. It is only upon Lacan helping her, using his own social status, that she's actually able to make it through. This is the risk component. I've gone into, again, in this segment a lot. She should go off her instinct and base things off of hunches and pursue things. If she does that in the wrong way, to the wrong people, she will get seriously hurt. She will get seriously hurt, right? This is the other side of the scale. This is the other side of the equation, which I may be not accounting for as much. What happens to Mao Mao here and her face. I think incorrectly here, Mao Mao goes with a tact of sarcasm and trying to appeal to his, trying to emasculate him almost as well, right? Trying to diminish his authority, trying to tease him, all these kind of things, right? Ultimately, that's just going to get the cop mad. He's a cop. Don't do that to the cop. He's going to beat you with his baton. That's how that works. It's a pretty blunt technique from Mao Mao. You know what else is a pretty blunt technique as well? Yeah, whatever happens between those 2 frames is pretty blunt. Yeah, there we go. She got her ass beat. She's well hurt by the end of this. Also, this guy is mental. He's trying to, beat the young girl down after he already, he needs to be held back? You're crazy, bro. Pretty based moment here. Do you feel better now? Getting back up after that injury, still having that motivation to want to fix this. Despite the pain, despite what I've gone through here, I'm still willing to work off of this hunch and save the people that I can save, right? Again, if she didn't do this kind of stuff in the very first episode, Gyokyo's child would be dead. This is life or death if you act on some of this stuff sometimes, right? Makes sense? It's a great character moment that she has taken the pain, but she's like, fuck it, I'm still doing this regardless. So great. Speaking through the heart, clutching one's heart here, there is somebody of noble birth inside. Please let me through, or they'll have your heads. Please let me through. Let me sacrifice. If I'm wrong, they'll take my head instead. Again, willing to put it all on the line here. It speaks to... There's multiple levels to it, right? It speaks to her love of Jinchi, at least on some level, that she's willing to do this for him. She has a heavy hunch at the moment that it is Jinchi as the master of ceremony there. But it also speaks to an element of ego, right? She wants to be proven correct. She knows that she's correct right now, and what's the... She wants the prize at the end of it as well. She wants that apothecary ingredient as well. There's lots of elements going into Mao Mao and her motivation here. And then, boo, scene takes a sour turn when Lacan is indeed here and speaks speaks for her, I guess. Uses his own authority to help her, get inside. Love Mao Mao's decision here to not look him in the eye, not address him once, not call him by name, not even try to think about him, right? Again, complicated scene for Lacan. Essentially, he's dad. That's my daughter. You just hit her. He's clearly going to be mad, but it's not a feel-good kind of dad madness. It's a dad mad because you hurt my property. It feels like that kind of stuff, which is weird. Just wanted to highlight this shot here as well. The looming figure in her past behind her back. Still don't want to address it, still don't want to confront it. She may be doing a lot of things right this episode, but this isn't one of them. She's not addressing that here today. Oh, that's hang on. It's perfect timing, as if everything was planned. What? Is that another level to this? Is Lacan in on it? No, No, he isn't. He wouldn't know. Does he know? Does he know? I don't think he knows. No. Wait? No. We need to see Lacan again. I want to see... Does he know? I don't know. Let's keep that in the back pocket. That one's interesting, though. It's as if this was all planned. Again, one of Lacan's major motivators here, of course, is Mao Mao. Letting Lacan be helpful to Mao Mao in this one moment here and now would be, again, beneficial to his plan. I just don't see how he planned it. I don't see how this would have been planned. Is this just fortuitous? Is this coincidence? Or is this part of a larger ploy? I do not know. Either way, then no, that can't be right. Because what was the plan in making Mao Mao and Jinchi become closer then? Lacan looks horrified watching Jinchi walk out here with Mao Mao a little bit later on. It looks like this wasn't part of the plan at all. So no, that can't be correct. What a weird thing. This is another point in the episode's favor, even though it may sound a little bit critical. I love how dramatic it gets. I love that the pillar falls right at the correct time. I love the injuries to Mao Mao. I love the walking out. There's a movie, and again, I can't look it up because I don't have internet. Like, a guy walking out of place, like holding, like wife, like that. Does that make any sense? There's a movie. Anyway, it's kind of like that. Again, you could say it's cheesy. I think it works for how big and important and emotional the scene is. Either way, Mao Mao saved the day. She injured her leg in the process. One of the first things she looks back at, gotta stitch my leg. Just, yeah, maybe focus on the guy you saved initially. And yeah, the fantastic line here, of course. Can I have the ox bezoar now? We're gonna go with bezoar. Bezor? Bezor? Ox bezor? I don't know. It's a great line. It's really undercuts the drama of the scene in a very fun way. Goes to show your motivation, but again, of course, we're associating this kind of stuff with love as well through very early segments in the show. So yeah, this is great. I love this. Love Jinchi here, obviously very concerned after Mao Mao and all that kind of stuff, but also thinks about the ramifications of this as well. Mao Mao could learn more and more about my elevated status, could learn more and more what hides behind the mask here and be more and more separated from me because of it. Again, a complex swirl of emotions going through Jinchi right here, right now. The person that he loves is very hurt, but she also saved me, but she's also found out part of my secret. And yeah, shoutouts to the face here as well. What's that look on his face? What is this emotion trying to say? Why is he here? Why does he feel this kind of way about it? Is this concern, or is this out of self-preservation? Either way, then Mao Mao fucking dies, and Jinchi kind of walks out with her. And yeah, it's very dramatic and stuff, but probably will have less to say about it than the rest of the episode up to now. Hey, streaming networks, I would love lyrics to your insert songs. That would be great. Also, again, the insert song here, it's fine musically, but I think it fits the scene quite well. Again, not something I would put on out of the blue or anything, but again, it's nice. It complements the scene. Yeah, again, reading faces here. Lacan clearly isn't... He clearly doesn't like what's happening here. So, yeah, no, it definitely wasn't planned. Lacan definitely isn't still a mastermind here. He was just walking by, I guess. Interesting. Or, stalking Mao Mao, whatever you want to say there. Again, that's great because it's building upon a lot of the kind of fighting, in quotation marks, that Lacan and Jinchi have done over Mao Mao this arc. This is the kind of build upon it. This is Jinchi taking his stand as well, taking some ownership over her, if that makes any sense. Some kind of claim to her as opposed to your claim. Again, it spits in the face of your claim as well. You saw Mao Mao's face upon even suggesting such a thing. You know how she feels about him, right? And now you're kind of standing in the way, you're kind of protecting her in that regard as well. Goes to show that this conflict will only continue to grow and grow as the show continues as well. I have the one thing you want in my arms right now. You can't have it. Symbolically love the trail of blood from Mao Mao's leg as well. There will be, I guess, far-reaching and irreversible consequences to the things that have happened here. I think that's what's being signified. And yeah, just as I've said, one of the best moments, scenes in the show, basically from like here, from here to here is amazing. It's incredible. So shoutouts to the show. Very, very good. I've talked, was it last week? Was it the week before? It was one of them. No, it was maybe in Monogatari. There's a lot of good fucking shows that have come out kind of that 2023, 2024 area that I've watched on the channel. Like, I may have even been missing some. Anime's so good. It's so good at the moment. At least the ones that I'm watching. Again, I'm not in the seasonal slump at the moment like I used to be. Maybe it's less good in that regard. But the stuff I'm watching on the channel has been fucking excellent. It's been very, very good. Again, just listing them out. Frieren, Apothecary Diaries, Delicious in Dungeon, Hibike Euphonium Season 3, Monogatari. I've thought that they've all been really, really brilliant in very unique ways. So shoutouts to that. Now, in theory, and I say in theory, this episode should be quicker to talk about. Because a lot of it is explaining the mystery from last episode, right? She really does have a keen sense of smell. She is, again, personified with, animals sometimes, cats and dogs and so forth. Therefore, that's probably part of that sense of smell coming through, also the apothecary skill and that kind of thing. The most important thing here is, hey, Jinchi feels for you. Jinchi's letting you recover. You get his bedroom. We made a big stink about sleeping in his bedroom previously in the arc as well. So it's nice that that's kind of come full circle as well. Weird aside here, it's Suren, right? The one that's kind of the house lady for Jinchi's establishment. That's her name. She said to Mao Mao to get kind of, put some clothes on. She doesn't seem to have changed clothes unless it was just like pants, like hide your legs and that kind of thing. I don't know, weird. Either way, it's business pretty quickly. Hey, what the fuck is going on? How did you know to be there at that time? Explain yourself, basically. Again, I won't bore everybody with the details here. Mao Mao here just goes through all the things she uncovered last episode about Conan, the food poisoning, the everything. Again, I won't bore you. I do like my good friend Basen here as well. He gets very mad at Mao Mao initially, like what the fuck's going on? Again, indebted to Jinchi, working with Jinchi. Also, Gaoshun's son, which is a crazy reveal, insane. So here's my thing. The Conan part of it with I think that's just the first thing that fell, then we use that to our advantage. I don't think Surei was planning to fucking fuck with his shit. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't think she was working from that far back is my point. It just kind of worked in her favor. Again, some of them are coincidences, but hey, if it's a coincidence that works in your favor, then why not use it? The part that we didn't go into last episode that I will go into here is how that metalworking episode actually connects. So, again, I lamented that episode and the video I made on it in that it was kind of nothing. As it turns out, it was something. There was importance to finding out the process of the metal and how it kind of melts down and that kind of thing. Specifically here, this shot of the kind of sun on the lock right there. I love, how Basen's reaction here changes as well. At first, he's outraged, but then he remembers, hey, I was literally in the room when we found out a metal that could melt under heat. Right, it was immensely strong when not under heat, but So again, others didn't know this property. They would commission the best metalworkers in town to use the best metal on this piece, not knowing about its not even fatal flaw, just one of its quirks that when heated up it weakens. Again, the metalworker isn't part of the conspiracy, was just ordered to use that certain technique, didn't know what it was going to be used for. I think specifically, if I go back to that metalworking episode, just bear with me. Yeah, this kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know, was that what we're talking about? Anyway, weird. Yeah, very specifically is. True. And then again, if we pan over here, that's just Sure. That is her right there. Again, just a very fun connection for those that are paying attention. Yeah, I wish I called it out in the moment because it was definitely what I was thinking. We also imply here that the death of the metalworker guy is also suspicious. So we commissioned the old man, right? Before the brothers, and we dealt with all that kind of stuff. The older guy, right? We even see the fishbowl here in the background. Yeah, we imply that his death could be suspicious because him dying would be convenient for your plot. Oh yeah, I forgot to say my joke as well. There's a Metal Gear joke here somewhere. There has to be. Punished Mau Mau? I guess we could go with that. That works. Just put Punished Mau Mau down here. Anyway, I'm still querying you, being like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Mate, you know who this is. You figured it out like 10 episodes ago. Again, if he's worth trying to kill in such a complicated scheme, but again, knowing the truth would just get me in more trouble, still denying herself in that aspect, I guess. Again, on some level, is that denial in the you don't want to believe it, in that, hey, Jinshi would be so far above me and I'll be in too deep being that close to him and so forth, that I would potentially get in more trouble from even being aware of this information, so burrow my head? Is that maybe it? I don't know. Just so very interesting is this show where you have the protagonist that doesn't trust their gut. It's such a difference from every other show. I can scarcely think of another where the protagonist figures things out but then double backs on them because, for multitude of reasons we've gone through. Just, yeah, again, praising that aspect. It's something I've never seen before. I love how matter-of-fact this next scene is, right? There's been somewhat of a time skip, indicated by Mau Mau's facial injury getting a little bit better here. Her leg's still on the mend, but again, let's say there's been a good 2 weeks, something like that. So hey, as it turns out, people investigated the incident, right? She implied as much that it was Surei to Lehaku that he actually went and pursued it, right? It was a court lady named Surei had something to do with it. So it's like, oh great, they figured that out. That's great, good. And then, oh, they found her corpse. What? So yeah, she poisoned herself, the officers declared her dead, and now she's going to be cremated. They're going to cremate her corpse tomorrow, coffin and all. Nobody's going to see who's inside the coffin. That would be... that'd be weird. Any other co-conspirators? Nope, just Surei. She did all of those complicated things by herself? Anyway, case is solved. Bye. No, wait, she did all of this by herself and then she poisoned herself and died? That doesn't sound like something a fucking mastermind would do. And again, you know that she's at least in a similar field to you. You know what she said about the morning glories as well. Ooh, eye on the prize. And then you put together immediately what she's done. Or at least have a pretty good hunch. Again, a lot of this episode and last episode have been about those hunches. So again, I love the reframing here as well. There was this scene here that had a lot of an ominous tone to it. I'm like, yeah, she's gonna kill Lacan. No, she's talking about killing Jinshi. That's why she's saying all this ominous shit and she's carrying a sickle. Oh my god. There's also, again, that implication of the resurrection medicine that she brought up as well. Another clue to Mau Mau. Just a push in the right direction of maybe what she's done here. Are you a good apothecary? Here's a little test for you. And she's like a fucking supervillain. She's crazy with it. That's mental. And I love that this is what gets you excited. It wasn't the case last episode. It was the external motivator, right? It was the ox whatever, right? This one, you're motivated by Surei and her being a fucking supervillain. That's what you're motivated by here. You're like, is she for real? Is she actually this goated? And then you want to go check it out. That's, yeah. I want more Surei. She seems amazing. And again, that classic line there as well. Curiosity got the best of me. I can't help but want to see what her plan was. What was she cooking? Yeah, wonderful. Curiosity killed the cat. That old one as well. Love it. So Mau Mau goes and finds the corpse, and then, hey, it was this doctor that did the examination. He seemed very close to Surei, right? So this is something that Surei is betting on, correct? The guy will examine her and not want to cut her open in an actual autopsy, right? Because, he likes her. He doesn't want to, defile her or anything else there, right? If she's dead, she's dead. It's tragic for him. He can hardly look at it. All these other things. She's gambling on this guy's affection for her, which, again, something that would appeal to Mau Mau quite a bit, I would say. yeah, I love this portion of the plan, this emotional aspect to it, knowing what certain people will do and that you've got certain people wrapped around your finger. So again, he liked her. She's accused of crimes. She's died. Of course, he's going to be all worn out and fucked. Look at his face here. He's like... that face would know. The episode here is called Thorn Apple, and that is one of the major ingredients here. I think we say it's like an anesthetic. Turns out it looks very similar to Morning Glories, which we've associated with hope, which is a fun twist on it, right? Like I was thinking all these like hopeful things, like, and in a way, it is Surei's hope of assassinating Jinshi and that kind of thing, right? It's a hope for a better tomorrow in whatever her eyes are, right? Like, but she's using that in a poison. There's a fun reversal there that I can't quite articulate, but it's very cool. Again, upon seeing this scene and upon hearing that Surei died and is being cremated in her coffin, I was like, oh, there's that one scene in the opening where somebody pops out of a coffin despite being alive. That was Surei. I'm sure I could go back now and actually have a look. Yeah, 10 minutes and 2 seconds. Yeah, there we go. Like, I could have zoomed in there and guessed who it was, I guess. Like, look at the hair there. Yeah, crazy. Again, of course, this guy would be devastated. You're trying to open the corpse of the woman I loved and look at her when she's dead once again, something which... Again, I couldn't even bear to do last time. I couldn't bear to do the full autopsy and all that kind of stuff, right? And as it turns out, hey, it's some other random woman. It's some other corpse I procured. How did you procure that corpse? That's another question. She had no pulse, her heart wasn't moving. I was sure that the woman that was in this coffin at one point was Surei. In other words, you've been exploited. Mao Mao's fucking cold with it. You got the whole squad laughing, Jesus. Okay, so where's Surei's corpse? Carrying it out would have caused a scene. Her corpse walked out. She got up, bro. Look at her. She's fucking goated. She just got out by herself. And what we used to fool the doctor apparently was a drug that was said to exist in a faraway land that would, again, slow your heartbeat to a point where you would appear dead. And then you would take an anesthesia to even reduce it even more. I guess that's what she did. She took a weird mix of drugs that literally brought her back to life, as was, again, foreshadowed in that scene on the hill there before. I don't know the details. Thornapple and pufferfish used as ingredients. Again, I've never heard of such a thing. Again, I'm thinking modern medicine could maybe do something like that, but again, not an area of expertise for me personally. Love this moment here as well for Mao Mao. She was kind of working off of adrenaline, getting up and walking around and doing the whole Phoenix Wright thing there for a minute, and then she puts a little bit of weight on her leg and realizes that she's still very hurt. Kind of that pain catches up with her away from the adrenaline. We imply here that Surei had conspirators as well. We find a coffin with some fingernail marks on it and that kind of thing. Her rescuer arrived, brought in the corpse, brought in the decoy, and saved her, right? She also left when she was disguised as well, so she could walk out scot-free. So she's still walking the streets, question mark? She's probably left town, let's be real, and she's going to plan something else again. Just watch out for her is my point. And again, this is when Mao Mao starts to get all horny about it. She's like, oh my god, they actually pulled this off. They're amazing. Yeah, in that way, this really feels like a Moriarty Holmes type situation as well. Again, I'm not particularly familiar with Sherlock Holmes, but isn't the whole appeal that they kind of mirror each other in a lot of ways? Like, they're kind of the perfect match, so to say. Lots of people. Again, I brought up Batman and the Joker previously as well. It's kind of like that. It's like these two, they have so many similarities, but they have so many opposites that they're like intrinsically linked together. I think that they've built up these two characters in that such a way, right, where they would have that kind of almost symbiotic relationship. At least from Mao Mao's perspective, Surei doesn't even know who she is and that she solved the case. But again, just this admiration out of Mao Mao is such an interesting thing. Her almost taking on some villainous looks here in kind of praising a villainous action. Just, yeah, very, very interesting for the protagonist. And again, the thing that she praises most here is the nerves of steel. She risked it all. She bet her own life. She is not of superior status. She could have died too, somewhere along the way here. She could have been... She's also a woman. She could have been killed for any myriad of stupid reasons. No, but she did it all. She pulled it off. She's incredible. She's following through on her innate talent. She's letting her flower bloom in a way that I want to as well on some level, but I can't. And that is such a goal for me. She is goals? I think that's, yeah... Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Ending the scene here with a maniacal laugh. Love it. Yeah, just What a fucking show. How good's this? And then catching herself, oh my god, I'm still bleeding. Can you help me? So that seems like the end of a lot of stuff. Does that make any sense? That seems like the closing of that kind of outer court loop, at least for now. And it seems like Mao Mao is going back towards the rear palace, which, again, will reintroduce us to all those characters. You could almost say that this was the outer court arc, if you wanted to be that specific about it, right? Because now from here, it seems like, okay, Sudore is still at large. She could do something at some point, but hey, Mao Mao, you're moving for now. Hey, Lao Lan, we're actually going to reintroduce you and actually have you do some things now, actually have you have some lines of dialogue. Clearly introducing this character, which we will do something with in these last 4 episodes. So she hears something, she narrows the eyes slightly, she sips her tea, but then we see her later on meeting up with Jinshi. Question mark, I do not know. So I wanted to zero in on this Jinshi scene here as well, because he says a lot of stuff. We ended up taking care of the Sudore incident in secret. Many things remain unclear about the court lady Sudore. She was making an attempt on your life. That's something you should maybe consider. According to that doctor, she was backed by his teacher. He took note of her talents, and a few years ago he brought her in as an adopted daughter. So, okay, interesting. Adopted daughter of a doctor. It's another connection to Mao Mao, of course. Noticed her talent and bought her out. Again, these other things that we're largely associating with Mao Mao. This is almost kind of like a Lacan situation, too. Almost. Like, what would have happened to Mao Mao had Lacan actually bought her out and she actually went over to that side? I do not know. Maybe something similar to this. Not much is known of her past beyond that point. Maybe it's a motivator for why she's doing these things to you. Maybe she hates the general authority of the government that's in play. I don't know, like you. We get to thinking about Lacan as well. I'm worried about him. He's a weirdo. Given the apothecary's attitude, there must be some issues there. We gotta stop these two from meeting up. Now, this was the part that confused me. So they're going to the rear palace tomorrow, and he needs to sip on some shit. You don't have to drink it if you don't like it. It's a responsibility of mine as a eunuch. Okay. Is this like fucking boner down? So he doesn't get boner? Thoughts? I don't know. He still does it in a very childish way, which is a very important thing to note. Holding his kind of nose as he tries to drink something makes him look very young, something which he doesn't want to show off. He doesn't want to show off that he's actually younger than he is. I have to have refined mannerisms, heavenly smiles, and a voice like honey. Again, these things are important things for me to be in the rear palace and to me to have that influence there. Again, largely predicated on the emperor, I believe. So he's playing off as a 24-year-old man who became a eunuch when the rear palace became the current emperor's 5 years ago. So he became a eunuch 5 years ago, he became a eunuch when he was 19, and he's meant to be showing off that he's 24. That's meant to be Jinshi, that's the persona I've made for myself from the day I decided to wear this mask. I've been drinking this medicine to suppress my manhood every day. Yeah, okay, so it's like eunuch juice. It makes him seem like a eunuch even though he's not a eunuch. I think that's what we're implying here. Drinking too much of it will actually make him impotent. There's a timer on this. There's also a timer for Gao Shun he mentions in a moment as well, as it pertains to him wanting to move on from this charade, him wanting to retire. I'm tired, boss, that kind of vibe. So you're drinking it as well because you're taste testing for him, which is funny. But yeah, my children are adults. They don't care if I'm impotent, right? He's even having another grandchild, which is, yeah, I didn't know that Gao Shun was that old, but go off, I guess. And also, shock reveal, Basen is his son? What? He's only 19. Yep, 19, just like you. So again, I hate to be a stickler on the ages, but time has passed since... A lot of time has passed since Mao Mao was in the rear palace, no? That's something we're getting at. I wish maybe we had like a lower third that's saying like how much time has passed or a date or something like that. That'd be fun to follow. I'm just thinking about Gyokyo's child, which we'll see in a moment as well, who is quite a bit older than they were. So if she looks like she's progressed from, again, being born through to being 2 or 3, then 2 or 3 years would pass and you would be 19, where you were 17 earlier. Again, Gao Shun's advice here would be to stop this nonsense, go find a wife and have some children, because you could be impotent after a while if you keep putting on this charade, right? Keep pretending you're Jinshi. And again, Gao Shun, I'm tired, boss. I'd like to have time to spend with my grandchild. I'd love it if you stopped this nonsense. But again, is it his choice? Is it the Emperor's choice? I don't know whose who does what there? Hello, Lao Lan. Lao Lan meets up with Jinshi and Gao Shun, and we don't really learn any other context there. We talk a little bit of Lao Lan later with the Emperor, right? The Emperor isn't really into her. He can't recognize her because she changes her clothes too often, which is funny. And she's a little bit young for him. He doesn't want to be like a weirdo pedo emperor like his dad was. This is the first line we hear her say, Gokigen yo Jinshi-sama. So, again, a lot of respect there for Jinshi. I'm wondering if you end up being a romantic rival for Mao Mao. Like, Jinshi likes Mao Mao, obviously. But you're like the betrothed to Jinshi, some direction like that. I've said that you look very similar to Mao Mao in the past. Very similar to Mao Mao with makeup. Are we going to play off of that? Almost certainly, I would say. Again, putting on this act, another wonderful outfit I see. Again, Lao Lan is fashionable. She dresses up in myriad different outfits. The Emperor doesn't really like that. But again, I'm just thinking of counters to Mao Mao, who often wears the exact same servant clothes. Like, she doesn't change it up, Again, keeping that flower bud closed. Think about that contrast in that first opening between the Mao Mao initially and the Mao Mao that gets up and starts dancing. Kind of a little bit of that playing off of here, I would say. Again, as Lao Lan becomes more and more important, I would imagine we get acquainted with this guy, who is Lao Lan's father, a high-ranking, important official, the perfect bait for a political marriage. Let's say to maybe the Emperor's son, who some other people also think is the Emperor's brother. Weird one. Again, it'll be interesting to see what people know and what other people don't know. Again, very important to the previous Empress Dowager. Yeah, very, very politically important is Lao Lan. Gotcha. In terms of lacking appeal, Li Shu is similar. She is like 14 or something. Good on the current Emperor for not being a pedo. Based, I will say. The Empress Dowager, who gave birth to the current Emperor when she was just a girl. Yeah, that's why she's... Yeah, okay, that's why there's... Yeah, okay. Not a large age difference between the two there. She also gave birth to another child some 10-odd years later. At that time, the doctor spent all his time tending to the Empress Dowager, so the birth took place without an issue. Cool. Yep, true. Then this baby got swapped. However, concubine Ah Duo, who gave birth at around the same time, received no attention, resulting in the loss of her uterus. The current emperor's firstborn child was lost soon after. That was the whole honey incident with Feng Meng and that kind of stuff. If that child had survived, no, it's just a silly delusion. Love the direction here of going from the reflection there to up into reality. Like, thinking about what would happen if there was a small change there, that kind of reflection in the pond. So yeah, I think what we're getting at there is, like, if that person was still alive, like, what would happen? Who would they be? What would, yeah... I don't know. Again, this is kind of where that dual role, that Jinshi stuff comes through. He just needs to make himself a new prince, and then immediate plan over to Gyokyo. As it turns out, she is with child. So again, that's what we're getting at there, right? We're getting a new prince, of course. Great. Again, heavy implication there that this child will then be a boy. I guess I've been neglecting the moon and its links to womanhood and stuff, I guess. Thematically, because there's been a lot of moon stuff. Anyway, I digress. The main important part here is that Mao Mao is now going to go back to the rear palace now that Gyokyo needs the extra help in that she's pregnant. If she's literally holding the next emperor within her, it would be nice if she had some extra help around, It's kind of sad that Mao Mao sees this as an opportunity to get away from Lacan more than anything else. Like, this is a good opportunity to hide from the weirdo. That's terrible. Not a good opportunity for any other reason. I guess you'll go and see your friends again. That'll be nice. Who was the little friend? The little side character? I loved her. What was her name? Xiaolan or something like that? Yeah, it was something like that. She was great. I want her back. Oh yeah, maybe Jinshi's looking out for you as well, hiding you in the rear palace away from Lacan. That, like, kind of two birds, one stone there. Yeah, okay, that's a way to look at it. Maybe another good reason is to get away from Suren as well. She, yeah, again, has certain proclivities by the look of this shot. Yeah, even older. She's like 3 or 4. Yeah, a good amount of time has passed in the show. Not that we really talk about it much. One interesting thing you mentioned right now as well is that she isn't showing. Again, it's very early in the pregnancy term, so I don't know if she would be, but it would be interesting if it wasn't a pregnancy at all and you had to maybe pretend. That'd be a weird plotline. This is a really weird moment as well. Mao Mao looks at the Emperor here and goes, oh, maybe he isn't like a creep. He's actually got a lot on his plate, being the Emperor. So he's lost Arduo, who was in his corner, literally like one of his best mates. She's gone. Replaced with this quirky, politically charged girl. Does that make any sense? Like, she's politically important, and she's fucking weird, and I can't get a read on her, that being Lao Lan. Like, you've got a lot on your plate, as well as everything else involved with being an emperor and a father. Like, there's a lot going on. And then, yeah, we get our... Yeah, that's a weird thing to end the episode on. It seems like a future indicator of other stuff. We're going to be more focused on the Emperor and Lao Lan. And then specifically for next episode, seems like we're going a little bit more comedic. Seems like Pyrin has been bought out. Obviously, again, that carries some amount of weight with it. Again, with the stuff we've been talking about with Mei Mei and Mao Mao's mother and all that kind of stuff, right? Still carries weight, but I think it'll be a lot more comedic, especially when Lee Haku is involved. I think in this preview here as well, we see him getting really naked, really buff. Yeah, right there, looking sexy as. But yeah, we'll leave the episode there today. Yeah, fantastic. Probably again, that was one of the better Apothecary Diaries sessions that I've had. The show continues to impress me. It continues to. It continues. It's been really good for a while. And again, as I predicted into this week from last week, this is where it all kind of fell into place and all the explosion of plot happened. It was fantastic. I loved it. I'll be back next week for more. It'll be interesting to see what we do with only 4 episodes left. I wonder if we will end the season on a cliffhanger. I think there's season 2. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there is. And I would like to see it sooner rather than later. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching, and Discord and Patreon, and like the video and subscribe. And I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.